another Saturday, and I think coming soon our masters will be finished her tour outside, and we're coming back to abroad. Yeah, she's supposed to be back on last 3 days ago, but now she's still in Taipei. So we hope that very soon, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, master will be back to abroad and for preparing to reverse to have the Chinese New Year. Yeah, and we're going to have our last part of the Sui Mo, the year-end blessing ceremony in Hualien, the last Joy time. So we'll be in Hualien. So now, since the question's been asking for quite some time, and finally I trying to find some time to give the answer, and I have to do it with my PPT so that I can follow it and to read up too. So and first, let us to go through this question. Is asking, say, what is the difference between demon and Burman? Demon actually is the manifest, and Burman is the intrinsic in the Lotus Sutra, where the masters say that we will step onto the Buddhist path after we enter the door of intrinsic. Actually, to make it simple, is like because the intrinsic is the Buddha nature as we all have. Why do you want to say that? So as you all have remembered that while we are paying respect to the preface of the Lotus Sutra, Jing so we can divide the sutra for the 28 chapters into 2 doors, and the intrinsic and manifest. This divide happened. This divide happened at the chapter 15, and this is the previous 14 chapter. For the beginning 14 chapters are the teaching of the manifest demon, 前14品. So for what masters say in the wisdom and down saying, open the provisional to reveal the true and return the 3 vehicles to the one. As well as, I think this is make it very clear, is like for the first beginning 14 chapter for the door of manifest demon, is like Buddha used various stories about how to manifest in the world, include the Buddha's birth in the palace and attainment of Buddhahood, and how he transformed his disciple, or giving a bestow petition upon the disciple, and so on, and a lot of analogy stories giving up taught by the Buddha, and just want to let the disciple to understand what is the difference for the 3 vehicles, which is like people who have a medium capability or limited capabilities, and so on. And from the introductory chapter onward, at any places that the Buddha taught the Dharma to see the disciple, they are all part of teaching of the manifest, because the causes and conditions can be traced back to the faraway time from the previous chapters 14, 前14品. So you can see the Buddha, he began helping everyone to understand the great virtues and merits of spreading the Dharma. So it's been go through by the Buddha while he still called the Siddhartha princess Siddhartha Taizi until he get enlightened. This is the process, and that's why demon means is a trace that you left before after you have gone through. So this is what happened for the 2,500 years ago happening in between Buddha and his disciple, and all the story, and Buddha is using different kind of stories to let the disciple know. So came out a lot of analogies and the skillful means to expound the Lotus Sutra for the first 14 chapter. Yeah, and after that, as you can see, this is for the beginning for the chapter 1, and up until to nearly to chapter 14 to 15. And in the sutras mentioned that the Bodhisattva as numerous as the sands of 8 Ganges rivers, who came from other lands to listen to the Dharma. They all expressed that after the Buddha entered the Nirvana, they would be willing to remain in this world to expound the Lotus Sutra. So this is the premise of the 15th chapter, which is we call the chapter on emerging from the ground, 第有处. This is how it starts to make it a little slightly different from the 14th chapter in the previous. And why I say that is like Sakyamuni Buddha told everyone that when it comes to spiritual practice in this world, walking the Bodhisattva path is very important. And the Buddha led everyone to understand the Dharma through his manifestations in the world. And so, but the next 14th chapter after for the 15th chapter is starting from the chapter on emerging from the ground, are about teaching of the intrinsic and start to reveal the Buddha state of mind, which is everyone having the same Buddha nature, which is to come and go as he is, and he does not come from anywhere or go anywhere because he already attained Buddhahood infinite kalpas ago. Yeah, and this is like it's kind of saying from chapter 15 to chapter 28, 后面是视频. Actually, the more the Buddha want to express is like there's bring up for a couple years ago how a Buddha who attained enlightenment, and he as a like ordinary being or just as a Bodhisattva. This is how the spiritual practices he goes through. So it's more on the intrinsic in the Buddha nature. So it's kind of like, you know, it's far away for what happened in 2015, 500 years ago. Yeah. So and gradually the Buddha began to expound the sutra bit by bit to help everyone understand how to uphold the Dharma and reveal the true appearance of this Dharma. And to do this, he had to rely on others, Bodhisattva from other lands, to place emphasis on this Dharma. So the Bodhisattva from other lands come to the Saha world. For example, and you can see as the Buddha, he started to have a Bodhisattva, which is we call that our intrinsic root. It's just like that of the Manjushri Bodhisattva, who conceal the intrinsic and reveal the manifest. This means that the Manjushri Bodhisattva actually he had attained Buddhahood in the past, but now as Sakyamuni's Buddha's Dharma assembly, and the Manjushri Bodhisattva manifest as a Bodhisattva to helping Sakyamuni Buddha and all the disciple how to get more understand about the Lotus Sutra. So they were also having a Maitreya Bodhisattva, Milapusa, who will attend the Buddhahood in the future, and as well as the Guanyin Bodhisattva, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, and so on. So there's in the last part of the chapter, you will see it's mentioned about Kwasi Bodhisattva and so on. So in the first of the early chapter, Buddha said that. So this is for the first question that I'm trying to give the answer. Is just like the intrinsic is what we all have, the Buddha nature. So the last 14 chapter from chapter 15 to 28 is more likely will be having like kind of how you form your aspiration in the past eons times ago. Yeah. And for the beginning of the 14th chapter is a story regarding Buddha and the disciple, how they gone through to engage in spiritual cultivation and the way the process, how they're facing the difficulties. And the Buddha taught the disciple how to uphold the Buddha unwavering and what's the method and so on. This is for the first part of the 14th chapter in the beginning. So, but later for the last 14th chapter, will be more on the spiritual and how you have a firm aspiration for upholding your faith and belief that everyone will get a chance to become a Buddha or to get enlightened. So this is more on the last part on spiritual practicing, and the beginning will be on the trace which has been gone through. So it's kind of like a history regarding the process that Buddha, from give birth in the palace until the end. So this is kind of the difference. So and now come to the question 2 asking. So there's a saying in the first of the earlier chapter, Buddha said that we should avoid female or people that has potential to defend the Dharma. But in the chapter 20, there was Lighting Bodhisattva, which is interacted with everyone he sees and gave the utmost respect to anyone he sees. And the question is asking is when he see the people, he goes to them and spread Dharma, or just say his theme sentence, I don't dare to look down on you because you will be the future Buddha. How did he tackle the defamation issue? Actually, I think it's quite clear. It's like how he tackled the defamation is like he still keep paying respect and humble and and bowing to people, everyone that he made, and that's why he say, I never slight you because you shall be attend Buddhahood in the future. So this is the only action that the Bodhisattva will do. So, but if we want to go further, maybe we can to talk about for the 13 chapter 13 for this chapter. So you can see that actually for starting from the 13th chapter of the Lotus Sutra, the chapter on encouragement to uphold the sutra, those who have received prediction of Buddha who were all unwilling to stay in the Saha world to transform sentient being, they would rather to go other lane to spread the sutra. So this is like kind of like just asking in the earlier chapter, Buddha say we should avoid female or people that who have the potential to defend the Dharma. And but the Buddha disciple is a little bit different from the slightly never slighting Bodhisattva, because this Buddha disciple of the Buddha, they are unwilling to stay in the Saha world, and because they say the sentient being is so stubborn, so they rather go other place to spread, not in this Saha world, because they don't want to spread Dharma in this world because of the people, of their habitual tendencies, bad habitual tendencies. But it's different from the chapter 20 for the never slighting Bodhisattva, who are wherever people who he meet, he will just bow in and have a petition that you all will have a Buddha nature. I believe that you are a good person. So it's totally different. So this is for chapter 13. So and come to the chapter 14. They also then the Buddha at the Manjusri Bodhisattva request and for ask for the sake of Bodhisattva who will spread this sutra in the future evil age of Dharma decay. Yeah. So and have the Buddha have expounded the 14th chapter, which is on the practicing of bringing peace and joy. So he thought the assembly to the 4 methods or 4 practices as methods of protecting their own minds, and to help us how to walk upon the Bodhisattva path and straighten our resolve. So from 13 to 14, this chapter, endless thinking. So this is the beginning, the previous chapter as mentioned. This is a door of many faiths, because it's been gone through by the Buddha and the disciple, and how you are upholding and how you are having unwavering aspiration not to to retreat yourself and to go other place. So this is the 14 the chapter of 14 is Buddha teaching us how to practicing, and so that we can still keep going on this Bodhisattva path smoothly and with restraint. Yeah, or the deep form of faith. Yeah. So this is a little bit different. But when for this chapter 20, you can back to this one. You can see the Buddha tells a story about previous life when he was a Bodhisattva or never disparaging or never slighting Bodhisattva. So this is the door of intrinsic, because this is what happened in the past, a very long time ago. So this never slighting Bodhisattva was born in the area of the Dharma image age, which means like after the first the first king of awesome soul have passed into stillness, and after have gone through the Zhenfa, and also when gradually came to the Xiangfa and the Dharma image age, and where there's starting to have bhikkhus who are overwhelming bright and have arrogance and something bad attitudes been happen. So with their assumed great power. So at the time there was a bhikkhu Bodhisattva, which is named by those arrogant bhikkhunis, and they give the name of a never slighting. So this is in the area of the Dharma image age. So, and as the saying that this Bodhisattva, he totally did not devote time in reading or reciting the scriptures or the sutra, but he was simply went about bowing to people, and if he happened to see any of the four kinds of believers far off in the distance, he would purposely go to where they were and bow to them and speak words of praise. So it is like no matter what kind of difficulties he faced on, and he was still humble and respect to everyone that he who are ridiculous him, and he was still smile and say, oh, you will be in future as a Buddha, so I'm not there to slighting you and anything. So and there's a reason, because the Buddha in the sutra is told the great strength, Da Si Zhi. And what do you think at the time could the four assemblies who constantly slighted this Bodhisattva have been anyone else? And this is the Buddha is trying to explain and trying to bring up the beginning and the causes and the conditions and in the past. So that's why Buddha's asking this question to the great strange, and who do you think they are? So, but actually, they were just all the Bodhisattva names that they named down in this PPT, and they are having the causes and conditions, because in the past they are slighting to this Bodhisattva, but now in this Buddha 2,500 years ago, when the Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha, start to expound the Lotus Sutra, there were those people with around 500 Bodhisattva will listen to Buddha, because they already have affinity in the past before. So this is like kind of in the chapter 20 is trying to say. So it means like they must everything we are related to the causes and condition. So it cannot be separated. Yeah. So they are very important to link together. And for the third question is asking for this one is like, is human being because of uncertainty over death, hence developing the 5 types of poison in ourselves and delude ourselves with false perceptions, and this eventually being transferred from one to another generation? Yeah, there's a different way, because I can say if we are ordinary beings or if we are the sages, 圣人或是凡夫哈。So you can see this is what Master's been telling us. Master say we learn Buddhism for understanding life and letting go of death. But more importantly, we need to focus on getting rid of the internal affliction now. It is impossible to ask for the peace and happiness in next life without getting rid of the internal affliction. It's just like you never know that the 5 poisons, what happened in this life, but you are concerned about in the future you will be, which realm you are. So, and in the morning assembly, Master also thought that for the circulation of life and death is the arising and eliminating of our daily thought. And we don't go too far that we can't proceed in our future, but we can see right now for our mind as this karmic retribution. So our mind has the kind thoughts, some things and evil ones at a time. And as the kind and evil thought rise and falls in our mind, we live in the circulation of 6 realms. So we can see at this moment that we are, in the heart. So when we see a good thing, do good in time, feel happy, then we are actually is already in the heaven. So this is but if we are devoted our moral ethic to farm heart, self, and others, and our mind just like the animal realm. And many people live in wars and starvation, misery. They are in the realm of hungry ghosts. And if you always have fear or despair, like living in the hell, then you are in the realm of hell. So, but again, if we treat people and methods kindly and smoothly, manifesting kindness, righteousness, courtesy, wisdom, and trust, your mind is in the human realm. If you are narrow-minded, bad temper, and also like to oppose and argue with others, your mind is in the Asura realm. So, but this is the last but not least, if you are devoid from the moral and here. So the circulation will widely assist in our daily life. So we need to make the best use of now to understand life and live death. So let our mind enjoy the happiness and ease beyond heaven. Handle self and others unconditionally, allow from all fame, fortune, and status, just to genuinely and honestly serving others. So this kind of down-to-earth giving without asking anything in return is truly walking the Buddhist path. So this is beyond heaven, 2020. So this led me to remember our Venerable Master In Shun once told our Master Sangre not to chant Amitabha Buddha when he passed away because he still wants to return to the human realm. As he said, there would be no way to practice the Dharma except in the human realm. So, and also another very quite funny is like for our Tzu Chi volunteer who will go to the prison, to the jail, frequently to visit the inmate students there, and we just start to spread the righteous Dharma to them. So it's just like we are in the human realm, we are actually can, we are not necessarily until I pass away, which I will pass from generation to generation to different kind of realms. So it's just like the Tzu Chi volunteer who are the living Bodhisattva. They can go through the jail easily and just to spread them out. After they finish their task, they will just come out. So they come and go very, like 去自如. So there's no controlling. So maybe you can see a short movie regarding this is I tried to pass the message for this question. It's about nearly 2 minutes.
来自马来西亚的慈济志工方有权是马来西亚的拿督，他的事业成功，生活优渥。过去的他心高气傲，然而加入慈济之后深受感动，因此也全心投入慈善的志业。方有权日前来到了台湾，受邀前往花莲监狱关怀收容人，他也和大家分享了他自己的人生故事。
幽默真诚的分享拉近了慈济志工方有权与花莲监狱收容人的距离。
以前呢，我们马来西亚拿督是一个马来过来的，是说对国家有贡献的。
方有权在马来西亚是位有名望的拿督，事业有成，生活富裕。以前的他吃喝玩乐，享受人生；现在的方有权投入慈济志业，利益众生。
当我们的人性，然后有因缘啊， 碰到三支被唤醒的时候啊，我们是会改变的。
是说完话，存好心啊，存好心，提升。
腹中之父的人生，方有权将自己人生的转变经过和收容人分享，期待成为他人的善知识。
钱不是万能的，我们未来的日子还有很长的路要走，我们也可以学习方师兄，学着改变，做实际帮助别人。
累积善念化为行动，改变人生。慈济之宫也邀请收容人共同制作祈福卡片，祝福八仙承报伤者早日康复。大爱新闻真善美志工潘慧珠、李玉莲花莲报道。
So this is I try to answer for the question number 3 regarding this one, and also again the body, our body is just a versus for spiritual cultivation, 生世再道气。Since it's rare to be born human and even rarer to walk on the Buddhist path, so we must not give up or become stuck. The importance of spiritual cultivation is putting into practice what one has learned. Is a kind to ploughing a field, and if we only pull weeds without planting seeds, all the work will go to waste. So this is why they were saying, I gain from my effort and you gain from your own. Without effort, no one gains. So each person can only engage in his or her own spiritual cultivation. No one can do it for others. So I hope that I will answer the question for the number 3. And the question of the following is saying that he always gets distracted by external environment easily. So how to maintain the inspiration that the person, the volunteer have in community himself into volunteer works and Dharma learning. And I think Master's telling us that the best way is to cultivate pure and wholesome thought. What to say is like, we must weed out any and bad thoughts and turn them into good thoughts. For example, so we can chant the Buddha's name is to prevent our minds from going straight and giving rise to the bad thought, help you to concentrate. So this is the very common way. And even though for myself, I will, sometimes when I walk on the street and doing halfway, I will try to make myself concentrate, and I will try to chant maybe Buddha names, or I will start to chant to recite the short sutra like Buddha Jing or something, which is I want to make it more familiar. I will try to spend the time and to let myself to become more concentrated. So again, so we need to be really practical and face our external environment. Another example is just like very simple. If you see the cup, we see just a cup. This is the reality of life. So you see what you saw, and this is that simple. So it's just very common and as like a ruta. And to engage in spiritual practice is to just cultivate in this kind of mind. But if we look at the cup, but we have a discriminatory thought, which gives rise to desire. And if you start to see this cup and you start to think, oh, I prefer the stainless steel and I not glasses, and I prefer this color and not the color. If you think of this cup, or maybe like, if someone gives you this cup and you start to do, I want the big one, I don't want the small one. If you start to have this kind of a discrimination, 分别性, so, and you will easy to distract by the external phenomena. So 被外界影响, because what you see is that your 6 senses already, control your mind, because you will get attracted by what you see. I want this and I want that. I like this and I don't like this. And you make it too complicated, then of course you will easily to get distracted by the external phenomena. This is what I'm trying to say. So if you make it simple, and if what you get and you just accept, and easy come and easy go, I think maybe it's more feel ease in the life. So so this is kind of trying to say. So again, so we must not let our external environment affect our thought. So for the everyday, we must develop the ability to stop the discursive thought. It's not easy. Say it's very easy, but if you want to take action, actually it's quite struggle our mind. But anyway, there's no other way, and I think this is what Master always say: try not to have attachment. 不着相. We just try not to attachment and letting go for the current afflictions, so that you will get feel ease and never will be easy to get started by other methods. So this is the 4 questions that I try to answer, and I hope you guys can understand. Yeah, and now it's time pass it to KL. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, Sifu and all brothers and sisters around the world. Okay, today is a sharing from our this Puchong Community Center, Brother Hew Wei Jack. Normally we call him Jack. Okay.
Okay. Very good morning to Jing Sifu and all the brothers and sisters around the world. Okay. So today I'm going to do a sharing on my spiritual journey in Tzu Chi. Okay. Okay. I also need to introduce my Dharma name given by Sifu is Ben Yan. Okay. Don't ask me what it means. I also don't really know. I'm sure that the name given recommended by the Sifu is with all the blessings and all the expectations to all the disciples. Okay. Okay, I want to start this sharing in a more lighter way. Okay, summarize it in three words. Okay, the first one is, of course, Xing. Xing means the faith. Okay, well, from my family background, from where I came from, my family also is a non-religion or non-believer. Okay, because of the business, the family is running business. All the while we just think of a more business-minded sense until we met, until I met Tzu Chi. Of course, during the past 20 or 30 years, we've been going to temples to do the prayings and whatnot we have. But yeah, we do read some sutras and that's it only. But we never practice what really the Buddha's the teachings until we came into the Tzu Chi. Okay, my first affinity with Tzu Chi is in 2016, or when I joined Tzu Chi. Actually, it's my sister who brought me in here. Well, to know Tzu Chi. That time, of course, and also they introduced me to Sister Tammy. Okay, she's also one of my mentors, which she's also here today. Okay, so other than being a mentor, and she's also really a role model. Okay, and then I also actually witnessed her progress from Peishun, I think. Peishun, that time to become a commissioner. She really showed me how to do it in action because okay, the things that she really give a good companies. So in Tzu Chi, of course, if you're fortunate, I mean, of course, they're around you, all the brothers, sisters will keep you company, help you with doing all the activities, give you motivations, the courage, and yeah, inspiration. So she's one of them. So things that we did together at the really beginning when I came into Tzu Chi. Like for example, she would just call me up, say, "Hey Jack, this Saturday, are you free or not to join this activity and that activity?" One of the example is that we arrange is that every third Saturday, I think, we go to do a door-to-door Isa to spread the love. Okay, we go to one of the apartment near our recycling center in Puchong here, to promote recycling. Okay, to speak to the residents at the apartments, and the challenges, also difficulties that in Malaysia here we have 3 races lah. We have Malays, Indians, and Chinese. So for them, they may not get to know what Tzu Chi is about. So it's a good opportunity for us to really to promote. So way we start is that to tell them to promote recycling. So this is one of the good way. And also we help to promote bamboo banks, and some of them actually listen to us, get to believe that the Tzu Chi, what we did, and yeah, so they also later become a donor, and later they also become a member for Tzu Chi. So this is really a good deed. All right. So yeah, the reason that I joined initially was that I saw this is a good organization with nice people, and yep, by doing the good deed so called. So that's why I continue to come more often, and later on in 2017. Sister Tammy also recommended me to become a new recycling volunteer in 2017, and then later on it progressed to TNC and to Peishun. Okay, the second is, once you have the belief or the faith, it comes yuan. Yuan means wow. Okay, this is one of the book sharing that I did during in a book study lah. 行愿办事己. It talks about the master's vow over half of a century. This is really a good book where it tells you know a lot of the history of Tzu Chi and how it evolved over the half century at that time. So talks about also get to know the 4 missions, how it came about, and yes, because of Grandmaster's one word, 为佛教为众生, and since then Master has been taking this seriously. 为佛教为众生, work for the Buddhism and for all living sentient beings. So because of these words or this sentence from the Grandmasters, so our Masters shoulder off the burden or responsibility to continue doing what she does, to spread the Dharma, spread the love over the half century. And because of that, what we have Tzu Chi today is by all the work. So what is Master's vow actually? All she wished for is for all the minds be purified, and may there be peace in the community, and hence there will be less or no disasters in this world. And how do we actually do that? How to actually achieve that is we can start by doing to spread the love or the Dharma, the great love to everyone, to every corner of the world. So in order to ignite or to bring out the Buddha nature in every people, all right, which is also the compassion in every people's heart. Okay, the third one is of course action. So this is some of in the pictures you can see some of the activities that I participated in. So one of them is recycling. So of course, when we listen to Dharma, it's more important that we can put into practice of what we do by doing and be walking the Bodhisattva path. Okay, on the top right picture is me in some of the brothers doing recycling and nighttime recycling at one of our recycling center. The brother with a spec and a mask is a brother Siu Hao. because I also need to, he's also one of my mentors that I need to feel grateful. He really leads by example. I mean, he's a team leader for the recycling center, and how he let you know is that he start by doing. He is very encouraging, and it's always he shows you how to do, and it's always patient. Of course, when he's being patient, of course we have a lot of those overtime in the recycling centers, meaning we have to stay back until 11, 12 o'clock to just get the things done. And then he's also very organized, and which is good when we're doing sorting, and very organized. All the paperwork are done really properly, so to say. So some you got to be patient, okay. Well, it's a 多用心. This is be mindful in everything that we do in our action, okay. Yeah. So I also feel grateful for him. On the left, there are two pictures. This is my participation in Qingziban, the parent-child bonding class. Okay. I was also because of one sister, Tzu Chi, who also recommended me or asked me to join. At first, I was just doing. She was just asked, "Hey Jet, are you interested to come to help out in the AC or help to do some PowerPoint slides?" Then I say, "Of course, I agree lah. Yes lah." So later on, where time progressed, I started to participated in preparing all in the 课务, in preparing the course syllabus, until today I become the small team leader in the Qingziban until today. So of course, children is a very important, because it's important to implant the good seeds in the children. So in Qingziban, there's all the teachings, for example, the Jingsi aphorisms, and all the good things. We have to nurture our next generation, so-called. So in Qingziban, it's given me a good way to have a linkage or communicate with all this future Buddha, say the Wei Lai Fo. So yep, and that took about until now. I'm still in that for about 2 years. And then on the bottom right, the pictures is one of the activities that we does before Chinese New Year. We do Aisa, where we give out the Chinese calligraphy couplets to the around the neighborhood to promote recycling as well. It's a starting point to promote Tzu Chi later on. Yeah. So this is just one of the activities that we did around Tzu Chi. Okay. Of course, now it comes to commissioning, which is this just happened last October, end of October, where we went back to Hualien to get commissioned, become a certified volunteer. Of course, you can say that it's like a lot of us saying that after you become commissioned and you are graduated, but actually it's a joyful moment. From the top right picture, you can see a lot of brothers just having a light moment after the ceremony. And yep, apart from that, it's also a new beginning where we shoulder off the responsibilities from our master, okay, to do what she does and hence 佛行师智, direct translate Buddha's mind or teacher or master's wow. So we have to do what our masters expect us to do, okay, which is to spread the Dharma and to do the Dharma, to walk the Bodhisattva's way. Okay, so yeah, this is some of the picture on the top left. You can see the early morning on that Saturday. We are getting all the, of course, the presence of masters, and yeah, I was sitting at the front row, although kind of a bit closer to masters. The view on that day also, how I felt that day is actually I feel a bit calm. All right. I didn't cry or anything, but I just feel happy for all the brothers sisters who came all the way from become a new volunteers until to Jianxi to Peishun until today, that day at the moment itself when they got commissioned and can see master face to face. That joyful that is really touched my heart. And where we continuing singing the Xiang Ci Dou, and also because sitting at the front row, so whenever all the brother and sister pass by, we just say, "Oh, 祝福你, bless you," just feel happy for them. All right. So expectation for myself is to be more diligent, of course, in doing what we do while walking the Bodhisattva's path. So, to carry on what the masters wants us all to do. And of course, in Tzu Chi, you might encounter some difficulties, some obstacles, but as long as you set your heart and mind solid and to the one direction that you are going, that you won't be missing. Of course, the Dharma joy is always there. So this is just my sharing for today, and Ganan all the brothers and sisters for the opportunity and time to listen. Thank you, Ganan.
Ganan Jack for sharing. Let me just mention a few more things about Jack. I remember when he became the gracious volunteer, when one of the brother in our Puchong community asked him to hold the responsibility, how about in the logistics also. So he without reluctance, he straight away agreed. And then I still remember that he can work very diligently throughout the charity fair, the fundraising for the City International School. So we don't see him, his body size is either, but we have to. He has a lot of strength when it comes to recycling and carry a lot of stuff. So I still remember after the event, I also checked with him how do you feel. Then he replied me that he couldn't feel his leg. Actually, this is to show that we have to put into our action. We other than study Dharma, we have to apply Dharma in our daily life and also join this living Bodhisattva. And we will continue to be diligent to recruit more living Bodhisattva in our Puchong community. Ganan, everyone.
Okay, and thank you for brother Jack and sister Tammy give us such a sharing regarding the journey of how you are working on the Tzu Chi Bodhisattva path. And I think as he mentioned, some brother Jack said, the 信愿行, the faith, wealth, and the actions is the three simple methods for you to go such a smoothly to work on the Bodhisattva path. And I think through your sharing, and I can hear that because our KL or Malaysia, Tzu Chi volunteer will have a routine, door-to-door visiting, and ring the bell down to our neighborhood and our community, and to try to spread our Tzu Chi spirit and our organization to everyone, to let them know we are doing the charity and not just charity, but we have other missions as well. So I believe that since we are in the Saha world, as like Sister Tammy said, they still have a lot of way to do. Since you're already be transformed as a commissioner, and I hopefully we are having still a lot of Bodhisattva in Puchong and in everywhere, in every part of our country, in other words, and there's still having people who are waiting for us to inspire them. Like Master said, actually, there is no lack of people in the Sahara world, as we now know that we are population in the world is over how to say is that 77 亿 7.7 billion population in the world in this world now, and it's keep increasing. 77亿人口一直在增加。So I believe that we are no lack of people in the Sahara world. We are 我们不缺人在这个沙漠世界。But there is just a lack of aspiration, just a lack of aspiration, 缺了发心的人。But Master say it is not that they have it's just that they have not yet to form aspirations. 他们还没有发心，是因为他们就是不是不发心，是他们还没有发心。So they are waiting for us to inspire them and to find these people come out and to serve out themselves and to help the society who are needed. So this is everyone's task, and hopefully we will achieve every day, and we will get increasing more living Bodhisattva, not just increasing for the population for increasing. Sorry. So 我们不是人口增加，我们是希望菩萨增加。And I'm very happy here actually today. We have 2 more living Bodhisattva come from Malaysia, from Dongma, Sabah, or Sarawak.
Yeah,
Sabah. Yeah, and these 2 sisters, they are recently just back to abroad, and hopefully welcome to join our big family in the abroad. And now I want to do some how to say is like 广告 for those who want to be a pure practitioner. Also can welcome to anytime come to the abroad, and we will personally talk in the connection to the heart. Yeah. So I think the time is it someone who wants to share since